Say Biden is Trump's biggest threat in 2020. Lara gives them rude awakening by Dan Lindsay Politics, U.S. News from AdWorldNews.com. Rumors have been started by the liberal media that creepy Joe Biden is the biggest threat to President Donald Trump's re-election in 2020. Now, Lara Trump is giving them a rude awakening that you don't want to miss. Former Vice President Joe Biden was nothing more than a hood ornament for Barack Obama's crazy train. Despite the constant ridicule that Biden received from both sides of the aisle, his name is now being floated as the biggest Democratic Party threat to President Donald Trump in 2020, according to the Daily Caller. Just take a look at that idiot's face. Creepy Biden, that's what I say. I mean, enough is enough. When word of Joe Biden's big threat status reached Trump's campaign, his daughter-in-law Lara Trump had plenty to say about creepy Joe. During a recent interview on Fox News, outnumbered, quote, with news anchor Harris Faulkner, Lara expertly treated the rumor about Biden exactly as it should have been treated, as a joke. Laura, who is also a Trump for President senior advisor, said, well, it's interesting that they said that. That's news to me. I didn't know that was the only thing we're worried about. Listen, Joe Biden has been living off the swamp for 5 decades now. And if that is the person that the Democrats want to run, that they think the American people want, then I wish them a lot of luck with that. When Faulkner commented, let's just take a listen. Why should I repeat it? Laura Trump, Democrats have no message.
Only 5 days remain until voters head to the polls in the Pennsylvania special election. We're really watching that. And now, some are speculating that former Vice President Joe Biden has been using his time stumping for the Democratic candidate there, Conor Lamb, to plant some seeds for a 2020 presidential run of his own. Former Vice President Joe Biden slammed President Trump during a campaign rally in Keystone State Tuesday.
He's a creep.
If we do nothing in terms of cutting programs, if we just keep things as they are, America's going to go flat bankrupt over the next 10 years. Not a joke.
What is he talking about? America's gonna go bankrupt. You were vice president when Obama was racking up the bills. I mean, what is this? What a crock. I can't even believe that.
This tax cut is not paid for. But they have...
Of course not, after Obama tore the economy to shreds.
To pay for it. They're going to cut Social Security and Medicare.
It would have been cut anyway, Joey boy. It would have been cut anyway under Obama because there's no money left. You know what? I can't listen to this guy. I could not agree more with Lara Trump in her opinions on Joe Biden, women voters, the efforts by the mainstream media to discount our president's accomplishment, and the importance of both special and midterm elections right now. I mean, President Donald Trump's support base will only grow larger as we get closer to not only the next presidential election, but the midterm elections as well, and Democrats will once again be caught in a state of panic when they lose even more seats at the table. But you know, I can't control myself when I hear this idiot talking.
Well, meanwhile, New York Magazine is reporting that Joe Biden is the only potential candidate the Trump team is worried about defeating in 2020.
What? And this is Fox News. Can you imagine what the other channels are saying?
Really? President Trump's daughter-in-law and Trump for President senior advisor Laura Trump joins me now.
Hey, Harris.
Good to see you.
Thank
Joe
you.
Biden?
Well, it's interesting that they said that. That's news to me. I didn't know that was the only thing we're worried about. Listen, Joe Biden has been living off the swamp for 5 decades now, and if that is the person that the Democrats want to run, that they think the American people wants, then I wish them a lot of luck with that.
So as you look ahead at this campaign, you've got the president going to stump for Rick Saccone down in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
You've got Joe Biden there this week, and he's promising to go back. I mean, this could be something that we see kind of play out across the country, the president versus whomever the Democrats send in. I guess it's going to be Joe Biden.
Well, I mean, that's sort of all they have. Who do they have on the Democrat side? They have no message. They have no real leader.
Hillary
They have
Clinton
no great
said she'll help
candidate.
out.
Well, we saw how that went in 2016. I don't know that she would be the person that I would want representing me if I were a Democrat running for something right now.
Normally we don't talk a whole lot about special elections, but we have been recently. We saw one in Alabama, and now we've got this one coming up on Tuesday in Pennsylvania. Why is this so important, and what is the Trump team looking ahead at Tuesday kind of doing to help out?
Well, listen, I think anything when you're talking about the midterms is important because we have to keep a majority in the House and the Senate. And if we want the president's agenda to move forward, we need strong Republicans that are going to stand behind him. And whether that's in a special election or whether you're talking about November, it's really important that people understand their vote counts in this election just as much as it did during the presidential election, and they need to get out and they need to vote.
You know, there are going to be challenges ahead. We saw with President Trump, then candidate, and you and I talked because you were with the Women for Trump,
Yeah.
that there were some challenges among women. We're finding out women of all ages who are of a certain education level through college have some challenge points with the president tweeting and that sort of thing. What are your plans moving forward? How are you going to combat that?
Well, interesting you asked that on International Women's Day. Happy International Women's
Right
Day
back at
to
you.
you.
I innocently did that. It's not like I completely forgot, but I forgot a little
Yeah,
bit. So
no.
You forgot because you're normal. That's why you forgot.
Of course. Listen, I think we're going to see a very similar thing happen going forward in 2018 and in 2020 as it relates to women like we did in 2016. The reality is women a lot of times I don't think are voicing their support for the president because sometimes they get a lot of flack for it. And I think when they get in the voting booth and no one is looking and they think about the fact that they have more money in their pockets thanks to the tax cuts, when they think about the fact that they're back to work or their husband's back to work or their kids are back at work right now thanks to our president, that this country is safer. We don't have ISIS anymore, Harris, and a year ago everyone was worried about that. I think that's what women are concerned about, and I never believed the polls, I never believed them during the campaign, and I don't believe now that it's truly that bad.
You know what you remind me of, because you and I have talked about this before. I talk all about the Islamic State savages and their demise. But some of the messaging has been difficult. You know, it's not as streamlined as you just put it. So that's a challenge going forward.
Well, it's a challenge only because I feel that the mainstream media does not want to highlight the accomplishments of this president.
Correct.
And when you look at all of the great things that have happened in the first year of the Trump presidency and his administration, you cannot ignore these things. But we see what the left does. We see what the media does. They throw a bunch of noise at us to try and distract us from the reality that this country is headed back in the right direction, and it's thanks to our president.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. It's headed in the right direction. It can't happen overnight. Listening to Joe Biden, I have to control myself. I can't with
The
the
Pennsylvania special election, we're really watching that. And now, some
With
are
Joe
speculating
Biden.
that former Vice President Joe
Look
Biden
at this
has been
idiot.
using his time stumping for the Democratic candidate there, Connor Lamb, to plant some seeds for a 2020 presidential
And
run.
notice the people in the background, they don't look too excited with Biden, if you notice that right there. Look at the people, like, you know.
Connor Lamb to
Look
plant
at
some
the
seeds for a
excite-
2020
they're not
presidential run
excited.
of his own. Former Vice President Joe Biden slammed President Trump during a campaign rally in the Keystone State Tuesday. Watch it.
If we do nothing in terms of cutting programs, if we just keep things as they are, America's going to go flat bankrupt over the next 10 years. Not a joke. This tax cut is not paid for. But they have a way to pay for it. They're going to cut Social Security and Medicare. They've announced it.
Well, meanwhile, New York Magazine.
You know, it is just like unbelievable. And yeah, Lara was right. If this is the candidate they have, you know, I wish him a lot of luck, but it ain't happening. Oprah, they're trying to push Oprah into it. Oprah, the racist, you know what I'm saying? I mean, what kind of, they don't have a message. And this Women's Day and everything. What is all of this? Give it a rest. Do something constructive. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching.